Hey there. Did you know the recent Tyson versus Paul fight isn't just about boxing? It's a powerful tool for self-discovery, and it can reveal you how your subconscious mind works. In this video, I'll explain how and why. Curious to know what the fight says about you and me? Keep watching. The boxing match between Mike Tyson, a legend of the sport, and Jake Paul, a modern social media sensation, created a wave of excitement that felt larger than life. People from every corner of the globe couldn't stop talking about the clash of these two very different worlds, making it one of the most talked about events in recent memory. This wasn't just any fight. Netflix broadcasted it live and the world tuned in like never before. Over 60 million households watched the event, shattering previous streaming records. It wasn't just a fight, it became a cultural phenomenon that reached beyond the boxing ring. Social media turned into a battleground of opinions where fans and critics went head to head, debating everything from the legitimacy of the fight to its entertainment value. Some saw it as a grand spectacle, others as a farce, but no one could deny the buzz it generated. This level of global excitement wasn't just about boxing. It gave us a unique chance to think about how our brains shape what we believe. Why do we feel so strongly about one fighter over another? What tricks does our mind play on us when we experience something so hyped? To start understanding how your mind interprets reality, and before I explain why it works that way, we first need to get to know the characters. Let's dive in. To understand this, we have to go back to the 1980s when Mike Tyson burst onto the boxing scene. He was just a teenager from Brooklyn, but his incredible talent and determination made him the youngest heavyweight champion in history. His story was one of grit, power, and an unstoppable drive to succeed. Tyson wasn't just a fighter, he was a phenomenon. His punches were like thunderclaps, and his opponents barely lasted a round. He became known for his fearsome knockouts and his unmatched presence in the ring. For many, Tyson wasn't just a boxer, he was a symbol of strength and dominance. His nickname, Iron Mike, cemented his legacy as one of the greatest fighters ever to step into the ring. Even years after his retirement, his name still carried the weight of his legendary career. Does Tyson's story resonate with you in any way? There are some clues for you. Now let's talk about Jake Paul. On the other hand, Jake Paul's rise to fame was nothing like Tyson's. Jake started as a YouTube star, creating wild videos that earned him millions of fans. But at some point, he decided to trade viral videos for boxing gloves, surprising everyone with his unexpected career shift. At first, many doubted his seriousness. A social media influencer as a boxer? But Jake proved his critics wrong by winning fight after fight. He brought his charisma and fame into the ring, drawing huge audiences who were eager to see what he could do. Jake didn't just box, he blurred the lines between sports and entertainment. His fights weren't just about skill, they were about spectacle. He turned boxing into something that appealed to younger audiences, making it cool and trendy in a way it hadn't been before. And what about Paul? How do you feel when you hear his story? The next key element in this analysis is the collective imagination. Why? Let's find out. When the fight between Tyson and Paul was announced, it felt like the past and present were colliding in a way no one could have imagined. It wasn't just a boxing match, it was a showdown of generations, personalities, and ideas about what the sport could be. The idea of Tyson, the unstoppable force of the past, facing Paul, the fearless disruptor of today, captured the world's imagination. People saw it as a clash of eras, and everyone wanted to know, could Tyson's legacy withstand Paul's fresh energy? Okay, and what happens if we put everything I've told you together? Where does it lead you? Pay close attention because here's the important part. How your mind polarizes based on your feelings. And do you know where those feelings come from? What made this fight even more fascinating was how our brains played tricks on us. Big events like this are perfect examples of how cognitive biases shape the way we think. We don't always see the full picture, we see what we want to see or what fits our story. These biases, like confirmation bias or the halo effect, often make us stick to our beliefs, even if the facts don't fully support them. In this case, both Tyson and Paul fans were sure their fighter would win, and they looked for reasons to back up their feelings. The bandwagon effect made things even bigger. As more people got excited about the fight, it seemed more important than it might have been. The internet made it feel like the fight was the center of the world, and everyone wanted to be part of the action. What can you tell me about this? How do you feel about it? Tyson's longtime fans held on to memories of his glory days, convinced that his power and experience would overwhelm Paul. For them, it didn't matter that Tyson hadn't fought professionally in years. They believed his legacy was enough to secure victory. Paul's fans, on the other hand, believed in his momentum. They pointed to his recent wins and his commitment to training, arguing that Tyson's age and time away from the ring made him vulnerable. They saw Jake as the underdog ready to make history. The nonstop media coverage turned the fight into something much bigger than boxing. Every tweet, post, and video made the event feel like it would define the sport forever. The hype created a sense of importance that was hard to ignore. But not everyone's opinions were based on facts. People formed their views on emotions, memories, or what others were saying, rather than analyzing the fight itself. It showed just how much influence the buzz around an event can have on our thinking. As the hype grew, some people just went along with the majority. They supported the fighter who seemed to have more public backing, even if they didn't have strong personal opinions. It became less about the fight and more about being part of the story. And what happened after the event? When the fight finally happened, it shocked everyone. The dynamics in the ring didn't follow the script that fans had written in their minds. It was a reminder that no matter how much we think we know, the real story often unfolds in unexpected ways. After the fight, many people realized their expectations had been shaped more by their own biases than by reality. It was a moment of reflection where fans could see how their thoughts were influenced by hype, history, and media noise. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, here we are. Your feelings and memories deeply shape your preferences. And what ultimately defines your feelings and memories, yes, your memories, are your subconscious beliefs and the behavior patterns you've learned over the years. It might sound strange, but if you honestly reflect on your opinions, you'll see I'm not too far off with what I'm sharing. The Tyson-Paul fight wasn't just a sports event, it became a case study in how our minds work. It showed us how biases affect the way we see things, and it reminded us to think more critically about what's real and what's just noise. By understanding these biases, we can look at things more clearly, not just in sports, but in every part of life. It's a lesson in how to be more thoughtful and balanced in the way we approach big moments and decisions. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll explore more fascinating topics like this one. From epic showdowns to the psychology behind big events, there's much more to uncover.